First it sounded crazy. A human foot had been mailed to Conservative Party headquarters.
Torso was found stuffed in a suitcase.
Fame. It's something millions of people chase. Likes, followers, validation. But what happens when attention becomes an addiction? In 2010, a man from Canada decided he would rather be notorious than invisible. He wasn't a movie star. He wasn't a singer. He was just another face online, posting selfies, chasing attention, and dreaming of fame. His name was Luka Magnotta. And when the world refused to notice him,
I don't have my looks. I don't have any life.
He found a way to make sure everyone did. Luka didn't care how dark, how cruel, or how unforgivable his actions had to be. Because for him, fame was worth more than life itself. This is the story of a man who killed for recognition. A story about vanity, obsession, and horror in the digital age. Welcome to ConfessionX. He wanted to be famous. That's what they called the video later. The moment when the mask slipped completely. When Luka Magnotta finally became the monster he'd spent years creating online. But to understand what drove him there, you have to go back, before the headlines, before the manhunt, before the world even knew his name. Because Luka didn't start out as a killer. He started out as someone desperate to be seen. He was born as Eric Clinton Newman in 1982, in Ontario, Canada. His childhood was quiet, isolated. His parents divorced when he was young, and his mother, often described as strict and obsessive, controlled almost every part of his life. By his teenage years, Eric was already retreating into fantasy. He changed his appearance, his clothes, his name, until Eric Newman was gone, replaced by Luka Magnotta, a persona, a brand, someone who looked like he belonged in magazines, not in the real world. He told people he was a model, a celebrity, even a victim of fame. He built online accounts that worshipped him, fan pages, fake interviews, hundreds of photos under fake usernames, all hyping up the same man, Luka. He was playing a part the internet didn't care about, until he made it care. It started small. Late nights in front of the computer, endless scrolling, searching for a reaction. Luka didn't just want attention anymore. He wanted control. When words stopped working, he turned to something that couldn't be ignored. Something that would shock the world into finally noticing him. A video appeared online. Grainy, quiet, and disturbingly calm. 2 kittens. A man in a hoodie. A plastic bag. No one knew who he was, but he wanted them to. In the video, named One Boy, 2 Kittens, Luka put 2 kittens inside a plastic bag. He then went on to connect a vacuum hose and turns it on. A 6-minute video that would haunt the internet for years. Within hours, the internet exploded. Animal rights groups, Facebook pages, online detectives, everyone was searching for the man behind the video. What they didn't realize was that Luka was watching them. He joined their forums, commented under fake accounts, and fed them clues that led nowhere. It wasn't guilt that kept him coming back. It was excitement. The hunt became a game. And he was the one controlling every move. The world was finally paying attention. His name wasn't known yet, but his presence was. And for Luka Magnotta, that was only the beginning. But Luka wasn't just a criminal. He was a master of attention, a man who understood the modern world better than most. The internet was his stage, and the world his audience. Every post he made, every taunt he released, had a purpose. He wanted notoriety, not just infamy. He wanted to be remembered. The online detectives weren't the only ones drawn in. Journalists from around the globe began to dig, to report, to speculate. Some were careful, some reckless, but all of them fed into the story he was building. A story of horror, fascination, and obsession. And the more the world watched, the bolder he became. By 2012, Luka Magnotta had become obsessed, not just with fame, but with the idea of creating something legendary. He had done everything to make people look at him, but now, he wanted them to remember him. In late May, a new video appeared online. It was titled like a movie, One Lunatic, One Ice Pick. The clip opened with the same quiet tone as before. Dim lighting, a small room, a man sitting on a bed. But this time, it wasn't kittens. It was a human being. The victim was Jun Lin, a 33-year-old international student from China. He and Luka had met through an online ad, and Jun had gone to Luka's apartment that night, completely unaware of what was coming. What happened next would become one of the most disturbing crimes ever caught on video. Luka filmed everything, calmly, methodically, as if he were directing a scene. When he was done, he posted it online and vanished. The video spread fast, just like the others, but this time, the horror was real. Police in Montreal quickly connected the footage to a grisly discovery: a suitcase left behind an apartment building. Inside was a body part, and a trail of evidence that led straight back to Luka Magnotta. The apartment was empty when they arrived. The walls were bare, the sheets gone, the bed stripped clean. But on the computer, they found hundreds of photos, edited videos, and messages. Clues that showed a man who had planned everything for months. Luka Magnotta hadn't just committed murder, he had produced it. There was something else they also found on his computer: a blueprint. Magnotta had orchestrated a worldwide scavenger hunt, a grim final performance. He mailed the victims' hands and feet to the headquarters of Canadian political parties and to schools in Vancouver. It was a deliberate, theatrical flourish, a final act in his macabre production. Police knew who they were looking for, but their suspect was already gone. Luka Magnotta had already staged his next act, an international escape. This wasn't a desperate flight. It was a performance, designed to prolong the fame he craved. He had spent years meticulously curating his online persona, and now his murder was the grim, sensational centerpiece. Magnotta fled to Paris within days of the murder, using his own passport. At a hotel, he used the name Kirk Trammell, a reference to the film Basic Instinct, which heavily influenced his crime. In his room, he left behind personal effects, almost as if leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for his pursuers. From Paris, he traveled by bus to Berlin. This move, too, was part of his narcissistic narrative. While in Berlin, he met with a man he connected with online, Frank Rubert. Rubert testified during the trial that Magnotta seemed slovenly and unappealing in person, a stark contrast to his online image. Magnotta's digital footprints eventually became his undoing. He was captured at an internet cafe in Berlin after an employee and another patron recognized him from news reports. Magnotta, in a final act of self-glorification, was reading articles about himself. When confronted, he offered a fake name before finally relenting. "You got me." The subsequent trial focused less on what Magnotta did, he admitted to the acts, and more on his state of mind. The defense argued he was not criminally responsible due to paranoid schizophrenia, which his family history supported. Psychiatric experts testified, but their conclusions were split. One defense psychiatrist described Magnotta as detached and psychotic, echoing his sister's testimony that his eyes had become vacant in the years leading up to the murder. The prosecution, however, painted a different picture. Their experts suggested Magnotta faked his symptoms, and that his sophisticated actions in the hours and days after the murder, meticulously cleaning his apartment, mailing packages, and planning his flight, were inconsistent with a disorganized psychotic state. The Crown argued Magnotta was motivated by a histrionic need for attention, noting that for him, negative attention is better than no attention at all. In December 2014, after 10 weeks of testimony and 8 days of deliberation, Magnotta was found guilty of first-degree murder and the other charges. He was sentenced to life in prison. In 2022, news broke that Magnotta had been transferred from a maximum security prison to a medium security one. The move reignited public outrage, with many questioning whether the system was taking the severity of his crimes seriously. For the family of Jun Lin, the verdict and prison sentence offered little solace. Lin's father spoke of a life stolen, not just for his son, but for his entire family. The documentary, Don't F**k with Cats, Hunting an Internet Killer, leaves behind an unsettling reflection on internet culture, fame, and the chilling intersection of human cruelty in the digital age. Luka Magnotta is behind bars, but the questions his case raises remain free. It forced us to confront the darkest corners of the internet, where voyeurs and narcissists feed on each other. It showed a new breed of criminal, one who doesn't just commit murder, but produces it for an online audience, and it left us wondering if we, the consumers of this morbid spectacle, are entirely without guilt. Magnotta remains the self-obsessed enigma, reportedly marrying in prison, still finding a way to twist his notoriety into a form of perverse self-validation. He thought he was the director of his own macabre movie. But the real story is about his victim, and the global online community who refused to let his fantasy go unchallenged.